advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Queen Domino, which is of course the spiritual successor to King Domino, and shares a likeness really only in name. Like the only thing that is like closely like related to either of those is, I mean, obviously the domino style, but they play so different. And Queen Domino is actually the one that I prefer the most out of both of them, because this is actually, whenever you and I played both of them that one night, this is the only one I actually went out and bought, because King Domino I felt was very much just a filler game, and this one I don't believe it is, although people can probably make that argument. But yeah, there's a lot going on in this one, and I think it actually could be kind of a turnoff if you're a huge fan of King Domino and you're expecting the same game. Yeah. You would be like, this is like, and like King Domino is like your max, you know, where it's like, oh man, that's kind of, okay, we take a tile and then we prep to take a tile. That's kind of complex. Queen Domino is just like, oh yeah, here's a lot more stuff to take into consideration, because you have, whenever you're taking tiles, you're trying to go for red tiles, which then you want to build these special, or buy these special buildings, so you're trying to manage money on top of that, and try to leverage out what you're buying, because what you buy dramatically, or what you take, you have to take into consideration what you're buying from the, you know, from the pile as well. But I like that. It gives the level of thinking that I actually don't get at all in King Domino. Oh, yeah. So this definitely works for me. But what do you guys think of Queen Domino?
I like it less than King Domino.
Yeah, King Domino is perfection for you.
It is.
The peak of games.
It is like my kind of filler. And then this one is just more. It's just more. Not that it's bad, but I just like King more. I still like it though. Like I think it's wrong to say that it only shares a name, because it still shares the building aspect of it.
But I think really in King Domino, you're not too concerned about where you're placing. Like, not really. Like, yeah, you're matching colors, and that's it. Here, you might not put matching colors next to each other, because you're going to build a building that gives you points for them being separate from each other. Which
and if you get those early, then that becomes a strategy for the whole game.
Exactly. Exactly. Because these are the crux of this game. Because I feel like if you don't get red buildings, you will lose. I don't think you can win this game if you do not build these.
That would be an interesting thing to try.
Right? Like, if you played this game like King Domino, and you only happen to take... I mean, granted, there's a huge amount of tiles that are red.
20. In the whole,
20?
On the whole set. Out of 96.
Yeah, halves. So chances of you getting some in your kingdom are high, but not necessarily. You could just happen to try and go for, oh, I know King Domino, I'm going to try and win like that. I do not think that... It would be interesting if you could. I'd praise them if, hey, no, I've won multiple times by not buying these buildings. Great.
Yeah, I think you can. I don't think... When I first got Queen Domino and started playing it, I was all about the buildings, because they're really cool and they're potentially a lot of points and everything. Yeah. And after probably about a dozen games, I realized, no, it really is a balance. Because the majority of points is still coming from territorial points like King Domino was.
I guess my question, since you have played both versions a lot more than we have, have you ever gotten 74 points in King Domino?
Probably, but that's right at the ceiling of... Oh, I'm sorry, in King Domino.
In King Domino.
Probably not.
Right. And because, like, if I just took your points... now, granted, that's taken away from you potentially strategizing with the buildings.
Right.
But if we were to take the run-through score, your points off of just the tiles is... I mean, it's still pretty good. 30, 42, 44. Which is still pretty good. Better than what Cat got in the whole... No. 44 points, which is still pretty good. That's probably about average or pretty high for a King Domino game.
Oh, yeah. That's a good score.
But you almost doubled that, or you almost equated that amount of points from the red tiles alone with the knights and the money and all that.
No doubt they do add, but also all of the red tiles tend to be higher numbers. So if you refuse to take those, and next time I play, I am going to refuse to take buildings.
Yeah,
and see how that plays out.
That would be interesting. You get like 3 points. Okay, it didn't
because
work.
I'm also more likely to get the better choices because I'll be taking the lower numbers each turn.
Sure.
Not 100%, but most of the time.
Right.
That'll be interesting to play out.
Yeah, let me know how that works, because it would be really cool if it's like if you went, because what I went for was the high value buildings, and I mean that's I got 29 points out of that.
And you got higher value buildings than I did.
Right.
And we each got a couple of nicely scoring territories.
Yeah, mainly water for me again. I don't know why I always get water. I never spread out. Like, I'm just like, yep, going all in on one resource, and it never works out for me. I still don't like the knights.
I gotcha.
Like, I feel like, and here's the reason why. Because with the tiles that give you points for each knight, it also counts into every knight that you have collected. Not only do knights give you a shit ton of money, which are also points, it is also potentially points for that, and it's like, the towers are kind of fucking shitty. They don't really do anything for you.
Unless you get the buildings that give you points or tax collection bonuses for them.
Right, but
and
other than
just
that...
never came out in this game.
Right, and they never have, like, they don't really have a dual layer, whereas knights do.
Well, except that they also make purchasing buildings cheaper.
Yeah.
But that's one at a time.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, it makes the first 2 tiles free, and that also depends on if the buildings that are coming out are even worth what you're going for. Exactly. Knights are universally great, no matter what.
Yeah. And scarce at the very beginning, so it's really important to get more if you're going to use them.
Yeah. I don't know, I think I mentioned it last time we played, is I would have liked it if you had to make that conscious choice of, like, do I want to use them for taxes, or do I want to keep them in a pool for victory points at the end of the game?
That's interesting. Okay, so I see that.
Like, because I think if you burn them all, and you're banking on having either a bunch of money to then buy for better buildings, there's no consequence to using them.
Right.
You know? So you're not giving away anything and be like, oh, it doesn't matter what I do. I'm going to put them on here, hey, that's 2 points and 6 money, and I'm also still getting the victory points at the end of the game. That's probably my only gripe. Like, if they did that, it would equate the knights to the towers.
Okay.
So
I can see that.
Because I think, once again, I think you got both of those last time we played. Yeah, 12 points off of that, and you're able to use those.
All but one.
Right.
That was just because I forgot.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, okay, I'm also getting money for coins. I'm getting money to buy other buildings later on that are also going to be more points. It just cascades into pretty much it. For me, it personally comes to a fight for those tiles.
I can see that.
And in a game like this, I would like it if, now on top of the strategy of where, okay, I want to buy a building, how am I going to place, you also have to think about, ooh, I could get 8 coins. Ooh, do I want the 8 coins now in lieu of losing a point? So, or 2 points if you double it up.
Yeah.
So,
I will say in all the games I've played, I never really care much about towers. If I happen to get them, fine. Or if I get one that comes with points or a bonus to them, I'll take that.
Yeah.
But I don't go for towers just to make the buildings cheaper because it's just not worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
The way that I played out. Knights are very powerful, and I will agree with you in one specific aspect. The knights that give the building that gives knights and bonuses for tax collection for the knights, that should probably be mitigated, because that's how it was last time.
Right.
I was able to play a knight and get like 30 coins.
Yeah.
And each time. And that gets...
Yeah, that's this one, right?
That's ludicrous, yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's not that many out here. They have the same one for towers, but it's so easy to get knights. Like, a lot of them just give you some. Some just give you 3. And then it's like, oh, time to collect taxes. Oh, that's 60 coins, which is 20 points.
Yeah.
And it's like, on top of, oh, wow, you also happen to get those, so you're also just doubling up on victory points. It kind of makes it a wash. And if this was 15 minutes, I wouldn't care.
Right.
Once again, it's like that filler mentality.
But this is a low-level strategy game.
Right. This is 30,
Mm-hmm.
at least 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
that's one of my biggest complaints. Other than that, I think it's great. I very much like it more than Main King Domino. Kat, what do you think about the buildings? You got 2.
Yeah, they're all right. It is definitely
Did you feel cool having the queen?
yeah.
You know what would make it even better? I don't know if it's a variant or anything in here. Variants, nope, just for different players. Oh, okay, there's a 3 to 4 player game. That's a variant, though. You build 7x7 grids.
There aren't enough pieces for that.
That's
Two-player would be.
3 to 4 player games. Build 7x7 grids.
Oh,
and
is
lay out-
that combining the sets with King Domino?
Oh yes, variants with King Domino. that is right in there. What would be cool, kind of like what you mentioned. Oh hey, if you have your thing in the center, which I did actually. Funny enough, so did Kat would have. So did you. Never mind.
Yeah, she would have gotten that bonus because it is in the center,
Yeah.
but she wouldn't have gotten the completion bonus.
Right.
If we. use
But what would make the towers a little bit more enticing is she's worth. You have the queen in Queen Domino. She's worth 10 points, or she's worth 15. Makes fighting for this, and she's cheaper. Makes towers just as appealing as knights.
I like that.
10 points might be too big of a swing. Maybe not, though. I mean, even if I had
Considering
one
how little value the towers have inherently, maybe 10
Yeah.
or 15 is.
yeah,
worth it.
because that would put her at 46, closer to me. If I had it, I still would have lost, but it would have been 70 to 74.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you're saving some money. And if you happen to get the buildings that are a point for each tower, it doubles up just as much as the knights.
That may make them just as overpowered as the knights.
Yeah, and if they're both overpowered, they're the only 2 resources in the game, not counting money. Money, obviously, you don't get any extra points except for the 3, which has never swung a game in any game I've ever played. Extra money. It's more of just like, I'll make them feel better if they get 2 points if they have money left over.
Or if you have engineered so you've got large areas and you can use your knights to collect a bunch of money, then that gives you points instead
True.
of
Yeah.
whatever you've been giving up.
And that would that would kind of counteract the queen being worth 10 points.
Okay. I get you.
So that's just kind of these just don't feel balanced in a way. And in my experience of playing Queen Domino, the person who happens to get the knights, the knight tiles ends up winning. Still close, like 14 point swing, but funny enough, your knights gave you 12 points. So actually, you got 14 points because of the money.
And yet, the building right out there, you could have taken it, and you chose not to.
No, you went before me because I saw I was going for you. I didn't see you had one of them.
Okay.
But the other one, you're just like, I'm gonna collect taxes. Oh, now time to buy a building. Oh, that one's worth 5, and then you took it. And I was like, well,
Yeah, you're right, because it was the 5.
it was the 5, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, I know to go for that. So I was looking at it, and because you can collect taxes and be like, oh, okay, well, there's the money I need to immediately buy that.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'll also point out I almost never bribe the dragon, and we never did this entire game.
No.
It is useful, but only in very specific situations.
yeah, that kind of goes against me morally. I hate drafting.
It is a screw you mechanic.
Yeah.
But that's actually what I enjoy about King and Queen Domino is you can play it on either way, offensive or defensive.
Sure.
And they both work.
Yeah. I mean, in that case, it's like it kind of would have been well, I'm not getting it, so I might as well bribe it, but I was hoping, I was like, oh, he doesn't have any money to buy it, but because you can just be like, oh, gonna drop this down twice, and there's 15 coins, now time to buy, and it's like, there's almost nothing you can do.
Sometimes, yeah.
And actually, because of the way the rounds go, at the end of my turn, that wasn't even available.
Right.
So, because you were first
And
player.
you couldn't bribe it and get rid of it.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it's like, well, okay, I guess it's coming out. Lucky you. So it's really not so much. The dragon is fucking useless. It's more of just they overpowered knights and underpowered towers.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of my own thought process. Kat didn't even. The one time she even bought a tower with the queen, she didn't even.
Remember.
Yeah,
And-
because it does nothing.
I
I
was
do
like,
that too.
Take all my money.
Yeah, it's like.
It was bragging, really.
Yeah, it's only useful if the first 2 are good. Because then it's like, oh, I'm not paying for anything. Like,
Well, you're low on
really,
money, and
yeah, but with
but yeah,
one night,
again,
like,
it's very specific. Its usefulness,
right?
Which is why I don't bother trying.
Sure. Yeah. So, because I was hoping in a 2-player game, I thought it was way too swingy. In this game, it still ended up being me versus you, because I was trying to compete with knights, and I was like, I know to go for those because they're good. And yeah, I never was in want for money, but none of those.
See, and I was broke most of the time. I had to collect taxes when I didn't want to, just to get a building that I really did want.
Yeah, but even then, you just break even. I think the money, because obviously the points for money is inconsequential. So because you don't have to be like, shit, I need to collect taxes. I'm losing a point to get that. You only gain. So
gotcha.
So yeah, but other than that, it has the extra layer of complexity that I like. In games like these, this kind of like what I mentioned in the discussion for King Domino, it fills kind of in the void of Canvas or the cat one, Calico.
Catwoman again.
But yeah, very few. I mean, this is what I would consider a filler. This would keep me engaged if I had 30 minutes to kill.
Gotcha.
If I were to break out a game to kill time. You guys got anything else? Cool. On a scale of 1 to 10, Cat. No, it's not a 10.
Well, it's not a 10 because it has the more rules, the more chances you have to mess something up. I'll give it an 8 though. It's still very good.
For me, this hits right. It's simple enough, but it is strategic enough. And I'm gonna try out some of these ideas and see how they play. But
actually, yeah. See if you.
I think it's a lot more balanced. I just happen to know. I go for the knights because I happen to know how valuable they are right up front. So that's just an experience thing I got by playing.
Right.
I'm saying 10. Yeah. For me.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because there are games that I've played. The game that's coming to mind mainly maybe because of the theme, but Crusaders Thy Will Be Done was a game that we did on the channel years ago. But I remember whenever we had played it, I was like, oh, like it's an engine builder. And I was like, and like my engine kicked off and I'm like, oh, this is the strat. This is the meta. Like I will never not play this way again because I know it's going to work. And it does always irk me a little bit with games, especially competitive ones, of course, because it's like, that's the meta. Go for those tiles and go for knights. Like, I would be very intrigued if there was like a counter to that, or if you could, or hey, the queen's worth 10 extra points if you hold on to her at the end of the game, or can you win without building these? Can you play Queen Domino as King Domino? I'd be very intrigued, but it always kind of bugs me whenever it's like, well, there's the strat. All right, well, any type of, because I always like games where it's like, I'm gonna try this, and it is equally valid as, oh, Cat's doing that and you're doing that. Now we all have an equal chance. I always like those kinds of games. I give King Domino a 7. This is slightly better. I'd give it an 8, like Cat gave it. So yeah. That is our thoughts on Queen Domino. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.